So Clinton, on your website you talk about the 5 key skills that HR professionals need outside of understanding the HR legislation and practice. Could you explain a little bit more about those for us, please?
Yeah, what I looked at is, and again, it's research I did over about a 25-year period, would you believe? I looked at what is it that differentiates a great HR leader from a good HR leader? We can all tell the difference between a good and a bad, but what is it that gives them that polish, that edge? And what I noticed was they went above and beyond their HR skills. So what they had was some additional ones. So business acumen, which we often talk about, their ability to translate HR issues into what does it mean on the bottom line, sustainability, long-term strategic plan, etc. Analytical ability, their ability to collect and use good quality data, understanding the difference between poor data and good quality data, and that touches on things like appraisal. Technology skills, technology acumen, actually understanding the behavioural engineering power of technology. And then the last 2 were courage, the ability to stand up and fight for what they believe is right rather than just saying yes and simplifying everything. And then personal effectiveness, their ability to drive things through, to influence and persuade, because you can have courage and still not win. So you need that ability to influence.
I love
because
that.
probably one of the hotter ones is the technology one.
Yeah, it's interesting, isn't it? Because I think historically, certainly from my experience in HR tech, is that when people go out to tender, they tend to be looking for a bunch of essential and desirable functions that the HR technology can do, rather than looking at how can the technology assist them rather than solve problems. And many a time I've come across organisations who believe switching on HR technology is going to solve all the problems and make them more efficient.
Yeah.
And it's just not the case, is it?
No. I mean, that's how I got into HR. I mean, many, many years ago, I led a project to automate a distribution centre. So it was computerising everything. And we put in place all the technology, but we didn't get the scale of return on investment we expected. When we studied it, the technology was fine. The processes were fine. What we'd not done was thought about the interaction between the people and the technology, the people and the processes. And that management played a key part in that. And that's the bit I think HR need to learn. They need to learn that you can put in technology that's going to manage, the process. It's going to send people a reminder you've got to do your self-appraisal. It's going to escalate it to the manager, and you're going to get the sign-off and the compliance. But it's getting people to use it that's the challenge. And that's a behavioural engineering issue. And I get people say, we've got to make it simpler. That's nonsense. You see YouTubes of 3-year-olds using an iPad. An iPad is not a simple device. The reason they do is there are the triggers and the reinforcement. It's satisfying. It's a positive experience. And I believe HR is missing some huge tricks. We have the potential, if we understand how do you get people to use technology and what can it do for them to reinforce and guide and encourage them to do things, we can use that tremendously, because we've now blurred the line between people's jobs and their life. Technology is addictive. People will use it. What we've got to do in HR is learn how to use that. And we've got an opportunity, I think. We could, through organisations, equip people to manage their life better, to plan their lives, to plan all sorts of aspects of it, which would increase their commitment to the organisation, would enable them to be more efficient and more effective, would enable them to develop and grow more. We've got to stop thinking about technology as something that automates a process or drives episodic compliance. We've got to think of it as a tool that we can use to engage people, to remove the distractions from what we want them to do, and to encourage them to do more and seek out more and do better at the things we want them to do.
Yeah.
And I think the minute HR people get that, they start to make a difference.
Yeah.
That's my passion.